What's up, people? And today I'm gonna be doing something a little different. Instead of drawing or playing a game, I'm going to be narrating a story. Specifically, Fallout Equestria, which is one of my favorite stories. I do not own this. This is a fanfic written by, I forget. But anyway, hi Nexus. I guess let's start. Chapter 1, Out of the Stables. Because in Stable 2, no pony ever enters, and no pony ever leaves. Gray. The wall around the maintenance stalls were all very, that word, dull gray. The particular wall I was staring at had a I'm great at reading, of being a very clean gray. Bitbugs were notorious for hardy and reliable, so being the stable pitbuck technician meant that there were long periods of nothing to do. Being the pitbuck technician apprentice means that I was assigned to all mundane daily chores, while my trainer took extended naps in the back room. Chorus like cleaning the walls. This wall needs a mural. I let myself fantasize, picturing the Overmare agreeing to order Pastel herself to turn our entire stall into one of her bright, colorful masterpieces. Pastel was a great painter in Stable 2, and like every skilled artist, that made her a stable treasure. Life in Stable 2, in that, being to eat your spirit. You were born in the stable, you lived your whole life in the stable, you were going to die then. I lost my place. You were going to die there, and the course of your life is largely laid out for you to see by your cutie mark party. That's interesting. So the Overmare insisted that new songs be added to the stable broadcast that the public areas were brightly painted and adored with uplifting and motivational murals. The regular parties were planned in the auditorium, all in efforts to distract and stave off depression. I'm great at reading, just so you know. Reality came crashing back as I stared at the internal Let me try that again. Reality came crashing back as I stared at the internal blank gray. Beautifying maintenance areas was... How long is this? Oh, this is over 50 chapters long. If you want, you can look it up. It's called Fallout Equestria. I'm gonna try to focus on reading. Reality came crashing back as I stared at the internally blank gray. Beautifying maintenance areas was tragically low already, and the pickbook technician stalls were one of the least traffic part of maintenance. 50 plus chapters. Yeah, this is chapter 1, I think, out of close to 70, I believe. But yeah, I really like this, that's why I'm narrating it. Also, can you hear me? I don't know if I can. I'm not that close to my tablet. Alright, let's get back to this. The pitbuck technician stalls were one of the least traffic parts of maintenance. I felt my ears droop as I started to realize that I'd been staring at the same gray wall for nearly every day for the rest of my life. Yeah, I'm not gonna finish the whole chapter, maybe. Oh dear, is it really that bad? And there she was, Velvet Remedy, the gorgeous carchel... Oh my god. The gorgeous charcoal-coated unicorn with streaks of color in her white mane, and with a voice as smooth as silk and as rich as the finest chocolate, was standing in the doorway of my stall. I felt grateful that I had finished the cleaning and ashamed that the room was so beneath her. I couldn't believe she was standing there. I'd seen her on stage above us I've seen her on stage above us at late parties. I'd listened to her songs in I can't words, recording every night on my pitbook so that I didn't have to wait to hear it again. I admit it now, I had a crush on Velvet for years. Me and at least 300 other ponies. My mother used to laugh at that. Little Pip, I can't. Little Pip, she would say, laughing with her friends. Velvet Remedy's bandeaus don't swing that way. It took me a couple years to understand what Mother meant by that. And took me several seconds to process that Velvet had just asked me something. What, huh? Wonderful response, Little Pip. So elegant. I wanted to dig my way through the concrete floor and pull chunks over top of me. She smiled sweetly. She smiled at me. And in that amazing voice, "You look so heartbroken when I came in. Is there anything I can do?" Velvet Remedy offered to help me. This isn't entertaining, I'm sorry. I was shocked back to my senses. Velvet Remedy must have some reason to be down here. Some pitbuck problem. It wasn't like... I'm not British, I swear. It wasn't like she would just go wandering around maintenance. After all, looking around, I realized that I was the only pony on duty, and my teacher, as usual, was asleep in his office. Oh, no, it's nothing. I tried regaining my composure. How may I be of assistance? Velvet Remedy's expression was both compassionate and unconvinced, but she lifted a forehoof, raising her pitbook to my gaze. A more elegant model than mine, with her initials and cutie mark, a beautiful bird with wings outstretched and beak open in song, embellished and tasteful. I hate to bother you, but it's being a bit... I hate to be a bother, but it's begun to chafe. Could you replace the padding? Oh, of course, absolutely. I was already levitating, and the special key used to unlock pitbucks from their pony's foreleg. As an apprentice pitbuck technician, I have all manners of special tools in my pocket of utility barding. I think that's what that means. I'm sorry. Where was I? Oh, I lost my place. Utility bar. Oh, I'll have it done right quick. The pitbuck came off with a click. Velvet Remedy chuckled hesitantly, lowering her hoof. Oh no, it's all right. Take your time. I'm going to put some salve on this leg back in my room and rest up for the afternoon. That's right. Velvet was performing at Stable 2's saloon tomorrow night. I would have to polish it and make it worthy of being worn on her hoof. If I spent all night on it, I could give it a full tune-up and have it running smoothly as the day she got it, and still have it back before her show. I'll have it back by this time tomorrow. You won't be disappointed, I promise. She smiled at me again, and all the gray in the world couldn't darken by my dark. All the gray in the world couldn't darken my day. Thank you. And then she turned to go. I watched Cutie Mark disappear around the doorway. Then she was gone. ... Bunch of dots. The next day, I was whistling one of Velvet Remedy's songs as I walked down the hallway towards her room. Her Pip-Buck was hovering along beside me in a field of magical levitation, freshly padded with the best lining I could find, looking shiny and new. I was tired from working all night, but in high spirits. Velvet Remedy was going to be so happy with my work. I turned the corner. I was startled out of my words. I turned the corner. I was startled out of my by the masked ponies gathered around outside Velvet Remedy's room. Dang, I was going to have to battle my way through hoofprint seekers and paparazzi. Levitating the Pip-Buck higher, I started to shove my way into the crowd. She's gone! How could she leave? The hushed voice and panic whinnies grew around me. Whinnies around me grew alarming. Why would she abandon us? Gone? Velvet Remedy was gone? And then the words stopped me cold. I didn't think the stable door could even open. She was outside? Don't worry, Riponi, boomed the voice of the overmare from somewhere in the crowd. I have every tag of each pony in the stable. I will personally send out a rescue party. We will have our Velvet back by the end of the day. Worry not. I felt I was drowning in cold, wet cement. My gaze slowly moved towards the Pip-Buck floating above me. I lowered my head, slowly trying to back out of the crowd, curling the floating Pip-Buck close. When the overmare brought up Velvet's tag, it led every pony, but not to Velvet, but to her Pip-Buck sitting in the main. Why did someone take a year or two to write this? Why though? Oh, because of how long it is. If you think this is long, you should check out the sequel. But yeah, where was I? With a thump, I backed into some ponies, startling me enough that the levitation field evaporated in a poof and the clean, shiny Pip-Buck clattered to the floor. Turning, I found myself eye to eye with the overmare. She didn't speak. Her gaze turned to the Pip-Buck on the ground. Velvet Remedy's initials and cutie mark clearly visible. What is this? The overmare spoke slowly, dangerously. All eyes turned to me. I could feel every pair of eyes. Nobody spoke. The silence bore down like a lead blanket. My mouth went dry. I couldn't find my voice. I didn't need to. I could feel the wave of loathing. Dozens of Velvet Remedy fan ponies, and I was the pony holding the reason why their idol was lost to them. The overmare's voice was slow, surprisingly gentle. Take it to your room, swiftly. She didn't need to tell me twice. ... Bunch of dots. I lay on my bed that evening, poking Velvet Remedy's Pip-Buck as the radio on my own played yet another a reiteration of the tragedy of the day. Why was that so hard? I couldn't believe it. Velvet Remedy was gone. I couldn't understand. How could she leave? Why would she go? The door out of Stable 2 was closed and sealed. Only the overmare knew the secret to opening it, assuming if it could even open, which obviously it could. But why? No pony really knew what was outside, if there was anything out there at all. Historical books suggested that the outside world was blasted, lifeless. Yeah, that was at least the common logical assumption. My throat hurts now. But the ghost story some pony told at my first and only slumber party had given me horrible nightmares that still lurked in the shadows of my head. A tale of a pony who somehow got the stable door open and stepped outside, only to find that there was nothing. Or only to find that I'm making up words and I don't understand why. It's probably because I've heard this story so many times before. Only to find that there was no outside. Just great nothingness that whisked the pony away, devouring her soul, so that she was nothingness too. How long has this been going? 16 minutes. I'm gonna keep going. I knew it wasn't the case, but the mental image still haunted me. The two things I didn't understand was that Velvet Remedy had gotten me to remove her pit book so that the overmare couldn't track her with it, and that I was screwed. Being the smallest pony my age, and the last to get my cutie mark, I did not facilitate building friendships with my peer ponies. Mother honestly didn't help me either, nor did waking up screaming at my first slumber party. So I was used to being alone, but I never had enemies before. I've been beneath the notice of other ponies, but I never had one hate me. I really couldn't blame them either, even though it totally wasn't fair. They were upset and needing a... Yeah. My throat hurts. Excuse me. The news hadn't mentioned mentioned me by name, just Velvet Remedy's custom decorated pit book was found in the possessions of a pit book technician pony. But with the whole two of us, it wasn't hard for every pony to figure out, even without the scene outside her room earlier. The overmare was speaking on the radio. We are all feeling this loss, but I want to remind everybody that Velvet Remedy chose to do this. She chose to leave her home, to abandon us, her family. She betrayed my trust, and she betrayed yours. She just as she betrayed the pony who she tricked into removing her pit buck, ensuring that we could not find her. I know many of you are angry or hurt, but I urge you to direct that anger where it truly belongs. As thankful as I was for her words, it wasn't going to change the resentment, that I would face, the resentment that I would face every day, even if every pony kept it to themselves. It hung in the air like old smoke. Distracting myself with the errant pitbuck, taking note of the Sorry about that. I had spotted it yesterday, figuring it was probably an unfinished new song. I didn't open it then, both out of respect and for Velvet's privacy. And sorry about that. I hate doing that. Both out of respect for Velvet Remedy's privacy and a dislike of spoilers. But I guess it didn't matter anymore. The song would never be played. Can I go away? Okay. Opening a pouch in my utility barding, I withdrew an access tool that would allow me to remove the encryption safe and easily. Hang on, let me do something. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to pause for a second. Opening the pouch of my utility barding, I withdrew a tool that allowed me to remove the encryption safe and easy. It was a sound file. I played it. The override code for opening the door to Stable 2 is CMC3BFF. I was shocked and surprised at what I heard. Swiftly, I turned off the radio and played it again. I didn't recognize the voice. It was female, kinda sweet, and had a strange accent that didn't sound like any pony in the stable. But now I know how Velvet Remedy left. I must have sat there for hours, contemplating what I should do, but finally I made my choice. I was going outside after her. I was going to bring her back. I can keep going. I don't see why not. I stood there, staring at the huge steel door to Stable 2. Hang on. I stood there staring. Why in the world would they leave a voice message? Say the password. This is like, you know the game Fallout? This is basically it, so they had like stuff like that back then. But yeah. I stood there staring at the huge steel door that sealed Stable 2 away from the outside horrors or nothingness outside. And two guard ponies blocked my way. I had my saddlebags packed with apples and necessities. Even a big book of arcane sciences for something to read. I had 2 canteens around my neck. I was ready to go, but the overmare was making sure that no pony followed up but overmare was making sure there were no follow-up acts. Insistent and glowering looks weren't getting me anywhere. My horn was going, but they stood their ground, unimpressed. They weren't going to let me anywhere near the control panel. Hey, aren't you the filly who let her Velvet get lost outside anyway? One of the guard ponies inquired daringly, taking a bullying step forward. The other guard looked away in disgust. I'm not sure if he was disgusted at me or felt that the overmare seemed to about ponies wanting to take it out on me. I was kind of hoping it was the former, considering what I was about to do to them. Thud. The metal footlocker above them dropped onto their heads, knocking them out cold. Earth ponies. They never see the levitating something behind you trick coming. I was at the controls, entering the password from Velvet Remedy's pet book, when the overmare's voice boomed through the nearby speakers. Stop! I want you to stop this instant! Yeah, that was going to happen. Guards! I want every pony at Stable 2 door. Stop that filly! Oh, crap. My hooves flew to the main switch of the door and prayed Celestia that it still worked. Then, with all my strength, I threw the switch. A loud... Hold on. I'm sorry. A loud clang filled the air, followed by a hiss of steam and a great rumble through the room. As I watched, the massive bolt that held the door disabled to slid back. A huge hinge arm swung down, attaching itself to the door. Then, with a teeth-hurting squeal, it pulled the massive steel door out, away. Randomly, I found myself thinking of my mother's voice. Stapled whose barn door doesn't swing that way. The door to stable 2 wasn't supposed to swing at all. Even though I threw the switch, I was stunned to see it actually open. You don't have to do this, little Pip, isn't it? The Overmare's voice kicked me out of my stupor. I could hear the hooves galloping, guards drawing near. I took a step towards the door. Don't worry, I'll bring her back. No, you won't. If you leave here, you'll never be let back in. For a moment, the unfairness stung. The Overmare was willing to send out a search party to bring Velvet back, but then Velvet was special, and I was not. Part of me wanted to turn back right there, crawl back to my room and my dreary but safe life. Drawing myself up, I stepped out the door. Let's see, what all have we got left? I can finish the chapter, why not? With a final hiss and a clang, the steel door to stable 2 closed behind me. I don't know what I was expecting to find just beyond the door. It certainly wasn't this long, dark hallway that smelled of rotting timber and that. I was no longer in the stable, but I wasn't outside yet either. I was in limbo. Turning on my pit-bug light and recoiled with a gasp at a skeleton of long dead ponies which littered the hall. Outside the stable door was marred from where ponies had slammed onto it until their hooves cracked and shattered trying to get in. Moving forward quickly, I discovered the hallway opened into an old room with stairs leading up to a horizontal door with shattered locks. The entrance from the outside world into Stable 2 had been cleverly disguised as a humble apple seller, and by disguise, I mean the person who was building it. And by disguise, I mean the person who built it had been building an apple cellar. Taking a deep breath, I charted into the stairs, swung the huge cellar door open, and stepped outside. And that was chapter 2. I lost my voice, I think. Or, not chapter 2. That was chapter 1. That was 30 minutes of straight reading. Well, what do you think? Should I do more of this? Do you like this? Was this fun? I needs to know. I think I should keep doing this. Who knows, I might do another chapter tonight. Are you done? All? I might do chapter 2, but it won't be in this stream. It'll be a separate stream, because I want them to be in separate chapters. What do you think? Should I do chapter 2 tonight? I might do half of it, just because chapter 2 is like a longer chapter, and I've got to like download it into my tablet anyway. I thought it was fun. I started playing Portal to it. Yeah. I listen to audiobooks, specifically the audiobook for this, when I play video games. Like, you can kind of hear the difference between my voice and my voice at the beginning. But yeah, chapter 2. Yeah. Nexus, you like this story? I figured it'd be a fun story to do just because I like it and it's kind of relevant to video games because it's based on Fallout. But yeah, I'll do chapter 2 tonight. But yeah, that was Fallout Equestria, chapter 1, Out of the Stable. I will see you in chapter 2. Bye-bye!